Welcome to the weekly Extra Point Live, back from the dead here for the road show in Broadstar, Quebec. With me for the Div 4 finals between the Incredibles and the Buddays, the man, the myth, the legend, a rookie, need I say, none other than Simon Dagenet. Simon, how you been?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm alive and well. We're back. It's been a while since we've done a webcast, about 8 months, 9 months to be exact here. But we're back here from the podcast, the webcast, and a man who's also a rookie himself, who already is known in this league. A potential Hall of Famer, maybe the class of 2016, potentially speaking here. Danny Gentili, how you been, sir?
2016, more like 2020. I've been okay, man. How about you, big guy?
I'm good. It's the Div 4 finals here. We have two great teams here, the Buddays against the Incredibles. Both teams do have a history, guys. I mean, 2011 winter season, the Buddays beat the Incredibles 26-12 without Greg Stone in the lineup, though. And speaking to David Stein before the game, he did say that was a big factor in the loss, but he did mention that Jacob Peterson, guys, that Peterson said the Buddies threw the toughest defense against him as an individual, and that's a big thing to say from Peterson about defense here. But the first question I have for you, though, Danny, is this. Greg Stern, we've seen him do phenomenal things in his time at FPF. So far in the playoffs, close to 20 TDs, had a monster game last week, throwing for numerous touchdowns in a 61-27 victory. Can he be stopped?
It's tough to stop Greg Stern. Their chemistry this year has been through the roof. There's definitely ways to slow a guy down. I mean, keep him off the field. But I know the Buddies have a pretty intense defense. They have a very big defense. Mr. Simon Dagenet told me before that they're really aggressive, very tall. Pretty much, just Julien Paiement is going to have a stand-up game this week just for them to have a chance and to keep Greg Stern under that. He seems to throw 8 touchdowns every week. Keep him to 5, 6, and that'll be a good start.
Well, he usually gets like 8 by halftime, as he did last week in the big win. Simon, looking at Le Buddies, Leandre Etier, he's had a phenomenal year. He's been here before. He has experience. But can he continue on with that gunslinger mentality? Because last week against the family, they were down by 2 scores. He made some pretty risky throws and connected. Can he continue on with this again?
I think it's going to come down to the wire tonight. He's going to have to pull up some enormous plays. Enormous plays is pretty much the way to go. I think that Leandre is going to have to shine tonight. He's going to have to have his best game in FPF history if he wants to pull this one out of his hat.
Now you see both teams, good depth for both teams. We've seen both of them come up big, especially in the playoff run that they've had for the Incredibles and the Buddays. Which depth do you like better? Is it the Incredibles or the Buddays?
Well, I mean, I don't know the Buddies team very well. I know they have a good team. I mean, they made it to the finals, so they must do something right. But I had the chance to play with the Incredibles last spring, and I know what they have to offer. I think up and down both rosters, I would give the edge to the Incredibles, Mo. Just that triple receiver threat, their XYZs. They got Jacob Peterson, they got Vince Nardone, and a guy that not many people talk about, Marco Bertoldi, who has incredible hands. I think those 3 players on their own could carry the Incredibles, obviously with the help of Greg Stern throwing the ball. But as a team, I would definitely give the edge to the Incredibles. Well,
Simon, you look at the Incredibles, they've averaged 24.4 points in average margin of victory this season, including playoffs. Given how we see in playoffs how it gets closer, however, the Incredibles have not gone through that yet, winning a 3-point game or losing by 4 points, 5 points, whatever it is. Could that hurt them now, considering that they've blown out teams here? But if they run into a gambit such as the Buddays where it may be a 3-point lead or they may be down 4 points, could that inexperience hurt them this time around?
Definitely. I think something's going to hurt them tonight. It's going to be a close game. I think the Buddies might be able to keep it close with the Incredibles. And if it comes down to the wire, the Incredibles come down for the first time in their season that they have a close game, 5-point, 6-point lead or 5-point, 6-point deficit. They might end up struggling a little bit, get a few plays not going their way, and might lose the game ball.
You look at, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say, just a second what Simon said. That's exactly what they have to do. The past couple of weeks, you saw that the Incredibles had great first halves, blowing teams out in the first half. That's what they're accustomed to doing in the playoffs. So for them to keep it close, like Simon Dagenet said, I think it's a first half game this game. If they can keep it close in the first half, they'll definitely have a chance to keep it close the rest of the game.
Yeah, Dan, you look at Le Buddays, right? And they've won ugly, guys. I mean, they won 12-6 in the second round matchup against Mustangs, the Gridiron. They've won big. They've won 45-37 against the family here. Daniel asked this question. are we going to see the team that wins ugly or the team that has to score a lot of points in this game today?
Well, if they think they're gonna play an ugly game against the Incredibles, they have something coming for them. So in order for them to have a decent shot at winning, they're gonna have to put up some points against the Incredibles. The Incredibles are known. I mean, we've all seen it. We've spoken about it. They put up points. They're not gonna go a game without putting 30, 40, even 50 points. So the Buddays, if they have any chance of winning, they have to come out slinging, man.
Slinging indeed, and one thing we look at, though, is Julien Payemont, as Danny Gentili mentioned before, as you mentioned before, how big of a season he's had, over 20 sacks. Could he be the difference maker in ruining the Incredibles offense and altering Greg Stern as a quarterback in this game?
I think so. Like Daniel mentioned earlier, they have 3 amazing receivers. So if you want to shut down 3 different receivers, it's starting to be a hustle. If somebody's going to make a difference, it's Julien Payemont as a rusher against Greg Stern. If you can shut down his running, shut down some of his scans, then you got something going your way.
Danny, look at the matchups within the matchup. Of course, Jacob Pearson, as I mentioned before, seeing the Buddays were the toughest defense he's gone through in his career. You look at who they can have going against them. Sebastian Simon, a good cover corner, very athletic. Will they match up him against Pearson, considering that Pearson's been a devastating weapon for Greg Stern in that Incredibles offense? Yeah,
well, Jacob this year has probably had his best year as an Incredible, putting up yards, catches, touchdowns. I mean, this guy is a triple threat. Sebastian Simon, I mean, if the Buddies have a game plan against Jacob Peterson, obviously they're going to put their best guy against him, because you have to go 1-against-1 here. You can't leave Jacob Peterson on the second or third best corner, because he's going to burn him. So if I'm the Buddies, I obviously put Sebastian Simon on Jacob Peterson. He won't stop him, but he has a chance to limit him, and that's good enough for the Buddies.
Simon, look at Kevin Libman last week, 3 INTs for the Incredibles. Who has to step up now for the Incredibles in this game?
He stepped up last week. I think somebody who has to step up this week is Greg Stern. Even though he played a massive game against Tout Garnier, I think that tonight is going to be the game he has to step up the most if he wants to take the win tonight.
All right, guys, now time for the predictions here. As I said in the Div 5 preview, one of you can be right, both of you can be right, or both of you can be wrong in this scenario. So I'll go with you. Well, since you guys are both rookies, I'll go with the first rookie here. Simon, who do you like in this game, the Buddays or the Incredibles?
Sadly, I'm going to have to go with the Incredibles. They're highly favored, and I think they're going to take this one home. They got a triple threat. They got a huge defense with Vince back on defense calling the plays. I think that their defense now is scary. I don't think the Buddies are going to be able to do something about it.
All right, Danny, it is now time for your prediction. No, you're used to this with Darren. Of course, you're about to make his prediction with him as well. But who do you like in this game? Is it the Incredibles or Les Buddays?
I'm going to have to go with Simon here. So if we're both right or both wrong, that's what it's going to be. I'm going to take the Incredibles here. I think, an X factor that we're going to have to look out for today is Marco Bertoldi. I mean, they have Vince and they have Jacob, but he's that unsung hero that the Incredibles have on that team. So look out for him. I think the Incredibles by 2 or more scores.
2 or more scores. That seems the common theme here so far in this weekend's finals in Div 5 and Div 4 now. And however, we do have a new wrinkle in this broadcast. We do have a live play-by-play with our main man, Darren the Baron Basmajan, providing Darren the Baron being the lead host, of course, for the play-by-play. So come up next, the live play-by-play of the broadcast, and following that, the post-game recap with Simon and Danny Gentili as we break down the Div 4. Who will win? We'll find out. Stay tuned for the broadcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Division 4 Championship final game. I am your host, your play-by-play host, Darren Basmajan, and with me to do the color analysis today is Paolo Della Rocca, my podcast partner. Peace, how's it going?
Great, I'm getting set for a great game between 2 awesome teams, and I'm really looking forward to this one.
Incredibles versus Les Buddays. Incredibles champions of Conference A, defeating Tout Garnier. Buddays champions of Conference B, defeating The Family.
Yeah, both teams won huge games to get here. I think they made huge strides throughout the playoffs to improve and grow our team, and we get to see the final product before us today.
All right, well, we'll have to see how it goes. Mike Cho with the snap, and Greg Stern getting ready to take his first snap of the game, and the Division 4 championships are about to get underway, folks. This is going to be a good one. Stern looking to his left, pumps, dropped by Mike Cho. Mike Cho is a guy who hasn't gotten that many looks throughout the season, but as Marco Bertoldi brought up in the press conference, he's a guy who oftentimes is going to be that kind of that check down look for them, as all snappers are, and it's important when you have that check down option. That guy's got to make that catch. He didn't do it on that one though.
No, and the thing with a snapper is you're not going to get the ball a lot. You got to be open all the time, and you have to catch the ball every time it's thrown to you.
And in fact, snappers are generally open all the time.
Pretty much.
There's better options downfield for more yards. We'll have to see if Stern gets a better look on this one. He goes to his left. Jacob Peterson separation. And that's one of the things everybody knows about Jacob Peterson, an excellent route runner.
Just as soon as he broke down, as soon as he made that cut, we saw a cushion of 5 yards get created. It was amazing. It was amazing to see.
Peace, what do the Buddays have to do to stop this Incredibles offense?
You got to frustrate Stern. Got to make him do what he doesn't want to do, which is throw those checkdowns. And just not bite on a lot of the first moves that these guys make, because they're so great at running these double route moves.
Yep. Oh, we've got snapper's flag is slightly rolled up or uncovered anyways. So we're going to get that snap now. Third play of the Incredibles' first offensive drive, and Greg Stern is 1 for 2. Pumps, gained some yardage, and Stern wheeling and dealing down the middle of the field. That is not something you see often, Peace.
No, because he likes to throw the ball. But would you notice that the ball came in a little bit high? Stern had to take his eyes off of the defense. And what he does really well is read the defense. So basically breaking eye contact didn't help him in that case, but we did see him get himself out of trouble and run up the middle for a few yards.
And it's now 2 of the first 3 plays that he hasn't really seen anything he likes. The first check down to Mike Cho. Now this play where he ran, it's just kind of hasn't been as wide open as it was the last game, where they shredded Tout Garni on the first drive.
And you know what? The Buddies' defense is a lot better than it gets credit for, and we're seeing that in this game.
Definitely, and that's probably the motor that drives the engine. Yep. And we see a big catch on the sideline, some extra yards, tackled by Sébastien Simon, and a catch by number 12, Kevin Libman, who had himself a game to remember against Tout Garni, notching 3 interceptions, 1 pick six, and I think 2 touchdowns on offense. He had an incredible game.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad day. It was a bad day out.
Not a bad day at the office for a guy who doesn't get as much love or as much exposure from the
Sébastien
media.
Simon, a guy that our video producer Dizzy Del Rizzi calls biceps, making a huge play, staying with Libman and forcing him out of bounds.
Well, he is jacked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now they are on
most of the Buddies are, by the way.
Definitely. Stern looking to his left. Peterson gets some separation. Missed tackle, but he stopped at the 1 yard line. I tell you, these 1 yard lines have been in play all game.
We saw that. We saw that a lot in the Division 5 game. We're seeing it early here. Steve Hodhog with a great call, because Peterson just stepped out at the 1.
Peterson has 2 receptions so far. Libman has 1, but you know that it's not going to be too long before Vince Nardone and Marco Bertoldi get on the scoreboard.
The Nardone himself.
The Nardone himself. And we've got Nardone as slot right, Libman as wide right, Cho as snapper, Bertoldi as slot left, and Peterson, the ever-dangerous one, on the left wide out spot. Stern going wide open. Nardone, nobody was covering him there. Front of the end zone, and that is the first touchdown of the game. Score is 6-0 Incredibles. Vince Nardone, the Nard one, with a touchdown.
And we saw on the other side of the play, number 33, Alex Gauthier playing a little physical with Bertoldi, and you wonder if that's a matchup that we're going to have to watch out for later in the game, because I know Bertoldi will want to expose that and sort of get around him deeper on plays where he has a little more space to operate.
First trips look of the game for the Incredibles. Stern has Libman to his right, the other 3 receivers on the left. He's looking to the left, and a big catch by Bertoldi. Great hands. And number 21, Eric Vigneault, was just shy of being able there to bat it down.
But didn't Stern just fire that one away?
Yep.
It was awesome. That ball got there in a heartbeat.
7-0 lead for the Incredibles, and Greg Stern doing what he needs to do there.
Which is score, and that's what he does very well.
Now we'll have to see how the Buddies respond. The offense is kind of the ugly stepsister of the Buddays, because their defense gets a lot of press, but their offense has been doing a great job. Etier rolling to his right. Léandre Etier. Sack! I don't know if it's a sack. It might be a gain of... Maybe a rush for 0 yards, let's call it. Yeah.
I thought he just lost some yards.
Still, we know that Etienne is a mobile guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy who's definitely stepped up his game in the playoffs. He's done a great job so far for them. If you just look at his QB rating, he was 95.9 in the regular season, bumped up to 115.9 piece.
Yeah.
So he's really been lights out for them in their first 4 games of the playoffs. But he's going to have to try and recreate some of that magic here in Game 5 of the playoffs. Fakes to the left, goes deep down the right side, but it is a pass out of bounds. Not really catchable for Vincent Barrière. And Barrière is definitely one of their deep threats.
Yeah, and so essentially what was interesting there was we saw Etienne not really throwing with his feet planted, kind of led that with an outside shade. I think if the ball was thrown right ahead of him, it would have been a touchdown. But maybe something that Etienne can go to later on in this game.
So far, not the best start for the Buddays offense. One rush for about half a yard and incomplete pass and an interception. That was not a good throw, and Vince Nardone comes in. This is a guy who has transformed the Incredibles defense, and he shows why there. He's an excellent play caller, but also an incredible player.
Just to note, it looked at Shane Turgeon either ran the wrong route or sort of stumbled. I don't put that interception at all at Etienne because he expected Turgeon to be sort of running that in right at the marker. He wasn't there. Ball went straight to Nardone's hands.
Incredibles offense starting with excellent field position just past midfield. We'll see if Greg Stern can do some damage yet again. He's been doing it to everyone all season. Stern looking to his left, pumping. Batted out of his hands or dropped by Bertoldi. Looked like Lippman might have had a chance at catching it, but it was incomplete. Not the best selection there.
Not at all, and especially that we sort of saw Peterson coming over the middle. I think if that throw was to the back of the end zone, we'd be putting up some more points for the Incredibles.
Hasn't been the most incredible start for Stern. He's been good. He's been good. Intended, always intended.
Absolutely.
He's been good on the throws he's been good on, but there has been some uncharacteristic accuracy problems here. But not on that one, as Kevin Lippman makes a cut towards the middle, and then he's finally tackled by Sébastien Simon at the 4-yard line. Big game for Kevin Lippman. If you recall, the last time the Incredibles were in the finals, they played the Average Joes, and they had a good game. Later on in the second half, they had a lot of nervousness early, though. Doesn't it? Maybe not as dominant as we've seen them, but they're making the catches. Not as many drops as we saw in that other final game.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, we saw again Lippman getting in on the action. We haven't been saying Nardone, Bertoldi, and Peterson just as much because Lippman, between last game and early in this game, has been making some great plays for them, and hopefully he can keep it up.
Stern taking the snap, looking to his left all the way, and Peterson was wide open. That guy is just impossible to defend. This is the guy
he's so fast, and a lot of times when you have these fast guys, they're not great route runners.
No, they just run deep.
But he's impeccable. His routes are incredibly crisp. You saw there, the defender fell down in front of him because of how sharp that cut was.
And it's not like these are bad defenders or guys who don't know how to cover good guys. The Buddays team is very experienced, very talented, very athletic, but Jacob Peterson has been causing all kinds of matchup nightmares all game. And he's moved into the slot now. Bertoldi moved outside. And we see Stern looking again towards Peterson.
He dropped it.
I thought he had it. The ball kind of knocked it out of his hands. He made a great extension to come.
Yeah, just as he was putting it into his body, too.
Yeah, it was a great play. If you've got a guy like Peterson, why not let it fly like that? Score is 13-0 for the Incredibles piece.
Yeah, it's 13-0. Buddies have to, I think, put up something now because it's a game that could get out of hand real quick, as we saw against Tutgani last week.
We'll see what the Buddays offense has in store. Leandre Etienne not with a great drive here, but he's going to have to do better on this one. Instill some confidence on that offensive unit. And he does with a quick pass to Shane Turgeon. Evades a tackle. Missed tackle by Kevin Lippman, giving an extra few yards for Shane Turgeon, his first bit of action in this game.
And Turgeon is a nice, reliable target for him. Like I said early on that interception the previous drive, I think there was a miscommunication or just, like I said, he might have just fallen down. But you know what? I mean, he's a guy that they got to get involved early.
Second play of the second drive for Les Buddays. They are down 13-0. They have someone in the backfield. A throw to him, number 12, Vincent Barrière, but he is stopped short by Lippman, making up for that missed tackle on the prior play, and not too much yardage there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something where we've seen them do those sort of like old school throwback plays in previous games. I don't think it's going to work against the Incredibles defense. They're such great athletes, and on top of that, they're so disciplined. They don't make a lot of mistakes.
The Buddays are going to have to be very, very careful here. They don't want to turn the ball over again. Pete.
No.
They can't afford it. Not against
you
this
can maybe
offense.
get away with one. You're not going to get away with any more.
It's pumps to his left. Again, looking to his
had
left.
that
Wide open.
wide open
Oh,
over.
man. But even then, number 71, Jason Charbonneau, who stepped up so big for the Buddays on defense in particular against Rich Humes and the Backyard Bullies on Saturday. And then he did a great job on Sunday against the family. He stepped in as Julien Paiement was out.
Yeah.
And this is a case where everybody's getting in on the offensive unit.
Yeah, and I mean, Charbonneau did catch 8 touchdowns this season, so he's a very competent offensive player, and it's nice to see him getting involved early on.
Etienne now making some good progress on the offense. He's rolling to his right. Not much there. Throws it.
Throwing it away, basically.
Now, is throwing it away, although it looked like Turgeon might have been able to get back to it, but it was an incredible athletic effort for him to even be close to that ball.
He kind of put it in a spot where, you know what?
If anybody was going to get it,
it's going to be Turgeon, but
Yeah.
if not, it's a safe play. Give yourself another chance at the reset button.
smart play, and that's what Etienne has to do.
Yeah, and Etsy's a very smart quarterback. I'm not surprised to see him making an intelligent play like that.
That's it. It was even, if anything, it was more surprising to see what the outcome of that first drive. But it looks like the nerves have calmed down. They have 2 guys in the backfield. They
And
have
we're sort of wing
Charbonneau
formation.
and Barrière in the backfield. Etienne rolls to his left, back
Wide
to his
open.
right, over the middle. Wide
Oh, my
open.
God.
I'll tell you, it was wide open. Vince Nardone was wide open. He threw it right to him.
Yes, absolutely, but coming over the middle, out of the backfield, he had Jason Charbonneau, just wasn't looking that way, and he just floated the ball into the middle of the field. Right after I said, he's a very smart quarterback, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. You see him with a huge boneheaded throw over the middle of the field on that one.
I don't know what he was thinking on that one, Pease. And we see it's, again, Vince Nardone coming up with the big play. This is a team that was known for being porous defensively, Pease.
Mm-hmm.
And Nardone is coming to make them a juggernaut. This
Absolutely.
is a big play team on both sides of the ball now. Stern looking to his left, and Peterson's open again. They're going to have to do something about this matchup. Peterson is just ripping everybody apart.
Eric Vigneault, it looks like he cannot cover Jacob Peterson.
It's
Because
just
every time he breaks down, Vigneault is finding himself still backpedaling and looking like he's about to wet the bed.
and I don't even blame him. I don't blame him because nobody's really been able to shut him down all season.
In any season.
Exactly.
But in general, I think the Buddies' coverage is a little too soft.
Yeah.
They got to get after it. They can't just give all that cushion. Sort of find a way to break the rhythm with Stern and Peterson.
It's tough because if you play very tight, they're going to open it up underneath like they did with Bertoldi, who is more of a possession receiver, not so much the deep threat that Nardone and Peterson are.
True, but I think the Buddies have athletes. I think they got to sort of trust that
Yeah.
and maybe put Paiement in a situation where he can make a difference, where you're taking away all the early reads and force Stern to have to throw deep, which he does well. But if Paiement could get there early, sort of disrupt the timing a little bit, and maybe pray that the Buddies' athletes can keep up.
Timeout
was
called by
sorry,
the.
Darren.
Yeah,
I thought
no
I was
problem.
doing play-by-play for a second.
Yeah, I know, it's all good. Timeout called by the Incredibles.
Say hi to your mom, Darren.
Say
You're on camera. Lady
Great,
Basmajan.
a great start for the Incredibles so far,
Mhm.
please.
Absolutely, and what we have one happy fan in front of us, and Chelsea Bayer, Incredibles fan number 1. You know what? I think the Incredibles, if they keep up this pace, this game can get out of hand early. But at the same time, the Buddies are a group of excellent, athletic players, and I think that they can come back in this game, but they got to do it now.
I don't think the Incredibles have been that bad. I don't think the Buddies have been that bad,
Mhm.
but 2 huge mistakes that you can't make.
Yeah.
And they have to figure out what they're doing with Peterson. Find your best guy, man him up with him, play his own somewhere else. Do something different. You can't do it. When we played against the Incredibles in the finals with the Average Joes, we had Marvin Golding shading Peterson the whole game. That's
my
the one
God.
guy who wasn't going to beat
Did
us.
you see that?
And that was an incredible move by Peterson.
He ran a post. He ran a corner post. That is
Yeah.
insane in flag football. You don't see that because you don't have an offensive line to block for you to give you time. That was an incredible route. He ran it so quickly, and Stern put the ball on the money.
Perfect pass, perfect route, perfect play, touchdown for the Incredibles. It is a 19-0 lead here. Second game in a row where it is just a unbelievable turn of events right out of the gate here. One team completely dejected, although I will say, to the Buddays' credit, they have what it takes to come back, but they're going to need to stop the bleeding quick.
Absolutely.
Stern looking over to his left, now looking back, throws it out of the back of the end zone. Nobody had a shot there. Smart play. Why give them the extra points? Why even have a chance of a run back of an extra point there? So far, mission accomplished. 19-0 lead for the Incredibles. Buddays, on the other hand, they're going to need to be a lot smarter and protect the ball. I still don't think it's panic time.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
you got to be effective. You got to be efficient. You got to be smart. You can't give them the ball back.
They have to score on this drive. They don't have to do it quick, but they do have to score. And we'll see what Léandre Etier has in store for us on this third Buddays drive. A quick pass to Shane Turgeon. Gain of about 2 or 3 yards. Jacob Peterson with the tackle there. But that's what I want to see here.
And you know, I always have love for snappers, and maybe that's why. But I'd like to see Turgeon really involved, because unlike most snappers of the PZ build, he's not a slow plodding guy. He's very quick. He's great with the ball in his hands. And I think if Etier hits him up real quick, we can see him doing some damage.
It's a real matchup difficulty for a guy like when you have to cover a guy like Turgeon, because usually you have your slower guys in the front of the coverage and your faster guys playing safety. Turgeon is very, very quick. And Etier going deep.
Beautiful
touchdown. That's what he was looking for before. That's what he didn't get. But we have Vincent Barrière putting up the first points on the board for Les Buddays, and a big Buddays fan contingent here. Very excited about that.
Absolutely, and it's good to see them get back into the game. I said it had to happen right away. They weren't able to get the stop on defense, but it's good to see that they got the ball rolling on offense. Hopefully this will translate, and we'll see them being able to get a couple of stops moving on in this game.
Score is now 19-6. They are going for a looks like a 2-point conversion to me, Pease. No, 5. Sorry, a 1-point conversion. Etier rolling to his right, just a face tackler, intercepted by Bertoldi. He has some room, but he runs out of bounds.
He basically threw that at Bertoldi.
Yeah, basically. It's some questionable decision making on a few plays. Very good plays on the other ones, but just a boneheaded play or two. It is now a score of 19-6 for the Incredibles, but the first signs of life for the Buddays offense, and that's great for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, getting on the board has a huge impact on the psyche. Hopefully they'll be able to capitalize on defense as well.
Greg Stern now looking to respond, and he can do it. You know he can.
Yeah.
This guy has been unstoppable all season and all playoffs long, and he's going right back to the deep ball. Vince Ardon dropped it. Was that a drop?
Wide open
catch?
drop by Bernard. Yeah.
Well, it looked like Sébastien Simon just being close enough to, I guess, distract Nardon.
Yeah, you heard footsteps. And then kind of strange, but it look, in the end, it is football. It operates the same way. You hear someone coming, you think twice, and the ball ends up on the ground.
That being said, if he caught Nardon in stride, that could have been a quick cut and 6.
Yeah. He might not even have had to cut. He was so open on that play.
He had to turn back for it, and by that time, Simon was there, and that was enough.
Yep. And we will see if they continue to try and attack the Buddies defense, or if Stern will try maybe go for a couple of safe plays.
Stop and go with Peterson. He's going deep down the sideline. Open for another touchdown. What can you do to stop this guy?
Nothing. I mean, look, we see it now. His shorts are ripped. Evidently, they tried ripping and grabbing at him, and even at that, they can't stop him. The dude is ridiculous.
It was a beautiful stop and go. You know what? I felt like he might get the next look there, and because he's been money all game. Yeah, and I had my eyes trained on him, and when I saw that little stop, and then once he was gone, you know what? He can outrun most people.
Absolutely.
If he just runs a fade on every single play,
he scores.
It might work. It might work. The guy's been incredible for them, and Stern has been on the money. A little bit of a. I didn't think he was as good as he's been in the past on that first drive, but so far, so good for the Incredibles. It is a 25-6 lead. Timeout called by, I think, the Buddays on this one. And then they have Jason Charbonneau talking it over with the referees. He has a question about something.
Maybe the
an
referees know how to
interpretation.
stop Jacob Peterson. Because I don't think the Buddies have accounted for just really what to do.
Haven't figured it out yet. Pease. I really think that you have to identify who your best guy is, have him play man on Peterson, and then have everybody else play zone. I think that's the only thing you can do at this point. Really sell out to stop this guy. Maybe even you double cover him. I know their other receivers are good, but nobody's as good as Jacob Peterson right now.
Absolutely, and I think we see some rusher interference in that one.
Yep, 2 flags, 1 on either side of the field. Ball is intercepted by number 33, Alex Gauthier, but there is a flag there, and it's going to be rusher interference, as you called, I believe. That is probably.
I think it's a ridiculous rule, personally, but that's just snapper bias there.
Of course. Well, what other? You're not going to lean towards the rushers, Pease.
Never. They're a horrible species. Just getting to your point, though, I mean, Vigneault has had a great season. He had 7 interceptions. I think that's the reason they're locking him up with Peterson, but it is not working. So he's got to fix whatever's going wrong in his head, or they got to change the matchup and get someone else out there.
Absolutely. We've got the offensive unit for the Buddays now on the field. Etier looking to make good on his second drive in a row. 2 drives you don't necessarily want to remember before that, but with a 25-6 score, you wipe that from your mind. Mm-hmm. You think, what did I do right on that last drive? I'm going to do it again. And you know that this team has a lot of confidence in their quarterback. They spoke about it in the press conference. They've got, on the defensive side, Marc-Antoine Bellini, who's their captain, who's injured with an Achilles tear, is talking it over with their defense, trying to figure it out, but they need the offense to succeed. Shane Turgeon with a catch down the right side of the field. A tackle by Dave Stein, guy who led the team in tackles in the regular season.
And that was a play where it's a good thing Stein made the tackle, because if he cuts up field, that could have been very dangerous. So they sort of funneled him into Stein, but if Stein misses there, Turgeon gets a whole bunch of yards after the catch.
I just find the Incredibles have the ideal setup. Their short guys are very good at tackling. Their deep guys are very quick. But you need to make them miss. And Etier, that one was way off. But I'm kind of glad it was way off, because if it had been on target, Peterson was waiting there to pounce.
Yeah,
so
well, I think he was sort of trying to throw it between those 2 zones. I don't think in any case that he would have sort of put it on top. But either way, you know what? They made a great. I think it was a good play call, and Leon Etier sort of threw it away out of harm's way.
Yep, and not a bad decision at this point. Another interception would kill them. An incomplete won't, but an interception will. So He's got to be very, very smart here. Etier looking to make good on a second drive in a row. Going back to the left, caught by Vincent Barrière, getting some yardage after the catch. Finally tackled at the 4-yard line. This is what the Buddays needed.
Absolutely. Barrière coming across the field, sort of waiting to pick a spot in the zone. Leon Etier buying time with his feet, coming a little bit across his body, but had his feet planted, so it was a safe throw. And we see Barrière getting them knocking on the door late in the first half.
He's been big for them, Pease, this season. In the regular season, he had 266 yards receiving. Playoffs, 251.
Yeah.
He's been doing great.
Massive.
He stepped it up for them. Etier throws it across. Is he in? Looks like he's just short at the 1-yard line.
I think Steve Hothod's doing it on purpose to keep calling it at the 1. Yes, it's exciting. We like to see it, but they can't all be at the 1.
Jason Charbonneau with the big catch there for them, and there are 5 plays left in this half. Wow, has this gone by fast. Buddays need a score here, Pease. If they score here, I believe they start with the ball in the second half. That will be a momentum carrying over for them as well, and that will help them make a game of it. If they don't, if there's a turnover here, or if they don't score in the 5 plays, then it's going to be very tough comeback possibility for them. In the second half, trips on the left side for Etier. Etier pumping, evades the rusher, throws it away back to the end zone. Smart play, safe play, it's okay. They are going to continue here. And if you make a risky play there, it's not the time. And we saw it last time they were in the red zone. Risky play, turnover, not the thing to do.
Absolutely. And on that trips play, we saw Barrière matched up against Bertoldi. And, he's got a huge height advantage, but Bertoldi has incredible hops. You know what? I was thinking maybe Leon Etier might be tempted to put one up there, but it would have been a risky throw in any case.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep an eye on Shane Turgeon in short yardage. The snapper's always the easiest guy to look at, but he's not looking that way. Left sideline, Jason Charbonneau with the touchdown. Charbonneau, I said it earlier, stepped up big for them on defense. Is also a big contributor for them on offense. One of the few two-way players on this team, Pete.
Yeah, and if you look at the delivery of that ball, it was low and in the body. He basically put in a spot where if the Incredibles would be able to sort of come back and knock it, try to come back and knock it down, there'd be no way he'd be able to protect it with his body, and a great score by the Buddies.
Charbonneau was wide open on that one on the left side of the field. It is now a score of 25-12. Like I said, big momentum turner for them. Trips right for Etier. He goes left, drops it over, but a great defensive play by Jacob Peterson. I thought that Charbonneau was going to maybe get that one, but Peterson comes up big. It is a 13-point lead for the Incredibles as Stern comes back onto the offensive unit. The situation being what it is, few plays left here. Do you just play it safe, Pease, or do you go for the jugular here?
If I'm Peasy, I play it safe. If I'm Greg Stern, I think I take a shot because he got that glorious arm. Why not use it?
Absolutely. Who do you think he's going for here? I could see Nardone
Peterson
here.
hasn't been covered all game.
I could see Nardone here. We'll see. He's looking, all the way to Bertoldi. Almost caught. He floated it over there, over Eric Vigneault's outstretched hands. Bertoldi looked like he had a shot. Kind of must have lost it in the confusion of having Vigneault jump in there. But it was a great placed ball. Tough catch for Bertoldi to make incomplete.
And it's a catch you figure most times you'll see Bertoldi come in with the ball. This time wasn't able to bring it in. And you know what? Great defensive pressure by Vigneault. Sort of getting into to distract Bertoldi at the very least.
Yep. Still a good play that would have gotten them a lot of yards. You send everybody else deep, and Bertoldi's good enough too. We say he's more of a possession receiver. It doesn't mean he sucks.
No.
It just means he's
Jerry Rice was a possession receiver.
Exactly.
Too, by the way.
Yeah. And he's only the best receiver of all time. Exactly. Going deep down the right sideline to Bertoldi. That ball just hung up there, and it is intercepted by number 12, Vincent Barrière, coming up big for them again. He does it on offense, does it on defense for them, and that was a big play for the Buddays piece.
And if you underthrow a ball towards Barrière, he will pick it off because the dude's a giant.
Yep.
Like, literally.
Great height.
If he was scared of heights, it would be problematic because just looking down would be terrifying for him. So now with the Buddies getting the ball back, Darren, do you think that they absolutely need to score, or do you think that getting the ball back at the start of the next half, they can play it safe?
For who? For the Incredibles? Please?
No, I'm saying
for the Buddies.
Since the Buddies have the ball, getting the ball back, do they have to take a
shot
now?
There's
or do they
very
play
few
safe?
plays left. I think they're not in a situation where they need to be reckless right now.
Look at Simon Dagenet chowing down on some poutine. Enjoying some digs as he gets a little break here between duties here at the FPF Finals.
Okay, Buddays now starting with obviously very difficult field position. You got to be safe here, Pease.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so, especially because you're getting the ball back anyway.
Yep.
He is not being safe.
He's not being safe. Going deep down the right sideline, but there are very few plays left. Intercepted by Nardone. And look, I guess I get it too. That was the last play of the half, Pease. So why not? Why not? As long as you don't get sacked and for a safety. The odds of a pick six happening if you chuck it that deep, not so high. Score is 25-12 at halftime. So far, well played. Better second part of the first half.
Yeah, I just think the Buddies came out a little flat. It looked as if they might have even been intimidated somewhat by the Incredibles because of their great, sort of reputation that they have. But They sort of calmed themselves, righted the ship, and it was a great end to the first half.
Now, looking at the Buddays sideline here, obviously there's a lot of talking, a lot of discussion. Everything, it's not like everything they did was wrong. There are certain things they need to improve on, but still, I think that they're going to manage to tighten that defense up. They've got to find an answer for Peterson. That goes without saying.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
That big interception there is proof that they have the talent and they have what it takes to keep up. Now, as for the Incredibles piece, what do you think about the Incredibles?
The Incredibles, to be honest, if they keep doing what they're doing, I don't think that they can be stopped. We see Jacob Peterson has had some issues being covered, and I think again Eric Vigneault's probably the guy to do it. I don't know if he can cover him though. On the other side, like I said, if you can sort of take away the short reads and force them to throw long. It hasn't been great either because the Incredibles have been able to score long. But if you can try and get the athletes to make plays and Payma can disrupt the timing with Greg Stern, then I think you might have a chance to come back in this
That's the one name. I mean, we're talking about the defensive player of the year in Division 4 Ps, Julien Payma, and he hasn't had any impact yet. Stern is just getting the ball off right away.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that when early on in the game he sort of he sort of made him a non-factor by throwing it into the flats. Later on, he was able to, because he sort of made him feel somewhat useless, he started being able to throw the ball deep because Payman was like, I'm not getting there anyway. Great masterful performance by Greg Stern so far.
I definitely agree, and I think they just need to do more of the same at this point. So we're going to have to see how the second half starts. Like you said, the Buddays starting back up with the ball. They're down 2 scores, down 13 points. But all they have to do now is score, then just cause another turnover. They're still very much in this piece.
All they have to do against a very athletic, very strong Incredibles defense, a little easier said than done. But we did see some positive hints of that in the end of that first half. I'm hoping that can continue.
Yep, absolutely. Leandre Etier has not had his best game, but he's looked good in spots. He's got to cut out the mistakes. I think that he's going to be the most important player for the Buddays. If there's an X factor here, if there's going to be an MVP of this game. If the Buddays win the championship at the end, the only way that happens is if Etier steps up his game.
I think so, and I mean, he's got a bit of a thing going with Shane Turgeon. It's safe, it's smart. Turgeon's an incredible athlete. He can make guys miss. Why not keep hitting him up in the second half?
Absolutely, and they just got to, like I said, there's no rush yet.
Yeah.
They don't have to be reckless. They don't have to chuck it deep all the time. That's not necessarily their game. Yes, you want to open things up. You can't just go short to Turgeon over and over, but they have to protect the football.
Now, interestingly, I'm looking at the way Incredibles are starting this half. They look like they're going to start it in a cover 3 defense, which begs the question: will Buddies throw it deep early?
Well, they've got the opportunity. Almost looked like it was sack caught by Charbonneau on the sideline, and he's going to go for 6. What a play! I almost thought that Etier was going to be sacked by Sapasi. He manages to get the ball off. Charbonneau just keeps those toes in bounds, runs it down the sideline for touchdown.
And I was going to say at the half, and I just sort of forgot to mention it, but there's a lot of cushion. And if they can get the ball to Jason Charbonneau on a quick hook like that, again, it's smart, it's safe, and let your athletes go out and make plays for you.
Absolutely, and the score comes up to 25-18. This is exactly what they needed here.
Exactly.
Buddays are very much in this. Greg Stern's last pass was an interception. That might be in his head. We remember at the end of the regular season, Stern was having a bit of trouble with interceptions. Hasn't had any trouble with that so far in the playoffs. But, it's a long time to be off, right? You get intercepted. There's a play for the Buddays. As we see them dropped in the back of the end zone. And you need those extra points. Yeah. 25-18, still a 7-point game, though. Still 1 score. As I was saying, so for the Incredibles, Stern's got to keep his confidence up. But it's hard when you don't get a chance to go back and fix your mistake, right?
Yes. I mean, that being said, what Stern's probably thinking is there was 2 plays left. I chucked one up.
Yeah.
There was not really much to lose. He trusts his defense to come out there and make a stop on a Hail Mary.
And they did.
So I don't think it'll get in his head. But it might do the opposite for the Buddies and sort of encourage them a little bit to move forward.
That, hey, we can stop this. We can do something. We'll see what happens as Stern takes the snap, looks to his right, throws it to Nardone, and Nardone gets tackled immediately after a gain of about 7 yards. Tackle made by Vincent Barrière.
And you know what? We are seeing the Buddies defense tighten a little bit. Nardone wasn't able to get any extra yards after that catch. It was great to see him close down on that one.
That hasn't really been their difficulty, though, Pease. There hasn't been that much yards after catch. It's really just been the deep ball that's been killing them.
True. It just, again, what I like there is seeing Barrière close on that is maybe he's able to pick one off and take it back the other way.
Yep. Stern receiving the snap, up by 7, needing a play here, and it is Kevin Libman avoiding a tackle, getting some extra yards, finally stopped by number 33, Alex Gauthier, with the tackle, preventing it from being even more yards after the catch.
Kevin Libman seems to be that sweater that you have in your closet that you never want to throw away, despite how many times your girlfriend tells you is hideous. You keep going to it. He's trustworthy. Every time Stern has needed a play, he's gone to Libman, and that's been the case all playoffs. It's the case in this game as well.
Absolutely. It's really been something to see because he's a guy we never really talk about. Stern takes a snap, a bit of a high snap, looking to his left, and he's got Peterson, but Peterson is stopped after about 6-yard gain. That's what they got to do.
it was nice to see Vigneault close on him this time, not give him sort of that much respect to say if I break too early, I'm going to get beaten. But you know what? I mean, it's something they're going to have to do moving on forward in this game.
Buddays now, this is going to be a pivotal. Pivotal is not a whirl. It's not a word.
It's not a whirl either.
It's not a whirl or a world. It's a pivotal moment for the Buddays defense. They have to step up. They're down 7 points. Their offense has gotten back in gear. Their defense has been playing better of late. David Stern has 2 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right. He's going deep right. Peterson open. Is he in?
Beautiful catch.
Touchdown.
If he held on, he did. All right, he held on to that one. It's a beautiful catch.
Unbelievable.
Toe-tap's
This
not even
man
accurate.
is a monster, but I don't know if he's a bit winded. Looks like he might be a little bit hurt.
Well, he kind of dove onto his face to catch onto that one. So I mean, you know what? I mean, it was a great route, great call by the referee, by the way, because that wasn't an easy call to make. You had to make sure that he dragged both feet, which he did. You had to make sure that he maintained possession the whole time. Great play, great call, great job, everyone all around.
And
Not so much for the Buddies defense, however.
Peterson's on the sideline right now. He looks winded, but okay. He doesn't seem to be favoring any limb, which is good news for them, for the Incredibles offense, because they'll need him to close out this game. As they are up 31-18, Stern looking over the middle, and he is deep, but that wasn't even going to be caught in bounds. Either way, it was out the back of the end zone. Lipman got a finger on it, but it wasn't enough. Score remains 31-18. So far, Stern, mission accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what we expected from David Stern. Not David Stern.
Greg
he's the
Stern.
commissioner
I've made
of the
that mistake too.
Yep. A little too much NBA for PZ this morning, but Stern has played exactly as we expected. Being the quarterback of the year, he's looked on form. He's looked in form today.
So far in the matchup of Defensive Player of the Year versus Quarterback of the Year is kicking his ass.
Absolutely.
Léandre Etier rolling to his left. A pass to Turgeon. Spins away from the tackle and gets that extra yards. It was an aggressive play by the defender, but it was a bit too aggressive.
And you know what? It's what we said on the Buddy side, is keep going to Turgeon because he can make great plays for you, and he has a knack for getting open, a knack for finding holes, and it was great to see them being able to keep up with that going into the second half.
Yep. Now, but it's a situation where they have to score. They're down by 2 scores. It doesn't mean they have to score fast, but they do have to score. Etier looking to his left, rolling back to his right. Turgeon throws it back behind him. Would have been a tough grab. Would have been an incredible grab if he had made it.
I saw them sort of line up, and everyone sort of lining up a little bit closer on the Incredibles defense. I thought Leon Etier would have been tempted to go to something deeper. Didn't see anything he liked there. Tried to dump it off to Turgeon, and we see, of course, that ball fell harmlessly out of reach.
Falling out of Shane Turgeon's hands as well, apparently.
Well, it was behind him. I don't think Turgeon would have had a chance.
No, I mean, it just dropped out of his hands right now
that's
as he's walking out of the huddle. Now let's see with Charbonneau in the backfield. Charbonneau rolling with him, a pitch forward, and that is a forward pass. And
I think that's
Charbonneau,
going to be a run.
You think?
He caught it behind the line of scrimmage.
Apparently it's a run.
We have a sort of expert referee.
Kind of like Mike Pereira. What is it, Mike Pereira? On Fox, NFL on Fox. So we've got George Ladder sitting right in front of us. So thank you, George, for that.
If we had any more equipment with us, we could probably have a segment with him calling in and being able to tell us, break it down for us.
Oh, and Shane Turgeon with a catch over the middle. And we also have Jack Nudie, Leo Gervais. It's all the refs are here.
Yeah.
Why aren't they on the field?
Well, because
they can't ref them all, right?
Reffing a game.
Make them all ref.
Why not?
Replay official. Why not?
That's what we need, is more refereeing.
That's it.
And less playing.
Well, maybe if we have a ref staff game. We haven't had one of those in a few years.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the staff would still get beaten.
We haven't won a game ever.
There we go. We're not very good.
Etier looking to the left behind him. Peterson got a finger on it. Not a very accurate throw. It's been a few in a row now that he's been lacking in the accuracy here. You got to be careful, especially in the red zone.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, to his credit, he's gotten away with it on most occasions, but he's got to sort of just settle down his boys and call a play that he knows can get them into score right now.
Yep, absolutely. This is going to be a big moment for the Buddays offense. Jason Charbonneau again in the backfield to the left of Léandre Etier. Etier takes a high snap to the right, but Charbonneau catches it, and he is stopped short at about the 5 or 6 yard line. Good tackle by Jacob Peterson.
And it's pretty impressive to see Charbonneau, who had he was sort of a role player on the team, kind of did some damage in his 8 touchdowns, 25 catches. Solid season, not spectacular, but he's having a spectacular game in this one, and he's been one of the main reasons that they've come back in the game so far in the second half.
Now, we haven't heard Vincent Barriere's name
No,
in quite a while.
it's a fun name to say.
And he provides a good size advantage there, so maybe we'll see it.
But like I said,
going
Bertoldi
back to
can
his
jump.
right, he's looking at him, but he's sacked. Sapasi gets a sack, first sack of the game for either side, if I'm not mistaken. And Etier will lose quite a bit of yardage there.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. He gets maybe a little bit more yardage to work with. Maybe he can try to get that jump ball up to Barriere again, now with having a little bit more yardage to throw into.
And they're calling timeout. Buddays calling a timeout now. That is, if I'm not mistaken, their floater timeout, and they'll still have one more left for this half should they choose to use it.
Solid strategy because we are running a little bit out of time.
Yep.
And we see Rehan Sarwar is getting ready to do his bid for the FBF finals.
With the Bobby Brown hat making its return.
Absolutely. I mean, would you expect anything less?
No, I wouldn't.
There we go.
It's in playoff mode.
It
all
is.
are,
It's
right?
playoffs.
It's
playoffs.
it's the road
Everyone's
show.
got to bring their A game. Best hats. They got us dressed half decent for a change, Darren, because we're no longer doing podcasts where we can't be seen. Despite what my mother said, and I have a face for radio. Today we're proving her wrong, and that we're actually on TV this time.
Yeah, but it's like very far away. So
yeah,
they
very
can't
far
tell.
away, and no one's really watching.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's that.
So that helps.
Absolutely.
So we've got that going for us,
That's
which is
true.
good.
That's true.
Buddays taking a timeout to really make sure that they have the best plan going forward. This is a huge drive for them. Like you said, time is starting to run out. They need a score, and then they'll need a stop.
Yeah.
But first
I
things
think it
first.
was a good time for the timeout. So make sure you have a play call. At the same time, stop that clock. Give yourself a bit of time later on in the game.
Yep, trips right for Etier. Etier looking to his right, looking back over the middle, and it is out of the fingers of Vincent Barriere, looking his way over the middle through his fingertips. Thought that was a catchable ball piece.
I thought so too, and I think it was a good call, giving Barriere a chance to go up and get it. And it was a great throw by Etier, sort of trusting his guy to go up and get it, essentially.
And that was a turnover on downs, by the way, Pease.
Yeah, and again, on fourth down, I like the play. It's trying to get the ball to your best guy. There's not much else you can do. You have to go for the end zone. It's a shame it didn't work out, but hopefully a big stop here, and it could still stay a game. It could still stay
It's
still be a game.
It's still a 2-score game, 13-point lead for the Incredibles. But if they score now, I would think that
It'll be the
drops.
nail in the coffin.
Yeah. Stern looking to his right. What a
catch!
What a catch! What a move! What a touchdown! Vince Nardone, the Nard one, makes his presence felt on offense.
Kind of made up for that drop, though, earlier,
Oh,
right?
I would think so.
In a big way.
What a catch. And that's going to make it a 37-18 lead for the Incredibles. Very, very tough situation. That is what we in the business call an ankle break.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're looking for your ankles, you kind of left them 5 yards out of the end zone. Huge play by Nardone. And you know what? A lot of these guys, a lot of these incredible receivers, they don't even mind the physicality. They go up and they get it no matter what. And that was an example of that with the Nard one going up and getting that one.
The Nard one made his presence felt big time against Tout Garni. On the first few plays, it was deep touchdown, deep touchdown, deep touchdown. As we see Stern whispering sweet nothings to Mike Cho. We'll see if that
Careless
impacts
whispers.
the play here, perhaps. Not really. Kevin Libman on the right sideline. Big catch through traffic. And everything is coming up roses for the Incredibles as they get the extra point. It is 38-18, a 20-point lead for the Incredibles. Pease, how about that?
Well, we're seeing here it's two teams that have been to the FPF finals before, Division D for both these teams actually.
And both have lost.
Both
FPF
have
finals.
lost. So essentially, we're seeing one side, the Buddies. Maybe they still haven't gotten to that level where they can compete in the finals. The Incredibles, however, they are serious.
Yep, it's here now. I said before. Oh, intercepted! Wow.
Tip drill for Jacob Peterson.
It was behind Shane Turgeon. Kevin Liebman gets a finger on it, bats it up, almost gets it himself, falls right into Jacob Peterson's hands. He'll get credited for the interception, but the credit, I think, has to go to Kevin Liebman on that, who's really stepped up his play of late.
Yeah, we keep saying Liebman's name. You know what? In all the articles all season long, no one really mentioned him. It's always the same guys that you think of. You think of Peterson, you think of Nardone, you think of Stern and Bertoldi. One guy who doesn't get a lot of press is Liebman, and all playoffs long, and specifically this game, he's let everyone know he's on the field.
And it's interesting because when we were doing the press conference, Bertolli mentions that I think we have 4 like top receiver caliber, top athletic type receivers, guys. Oh my God! Speaking of Bertoldi, he almost got truck stick there over the middle. But he was mentioning that we have 4 elite receivers in his mind, and we always think of the 3. And it took me a second to think of who the hell's the 4th one, and then I realized he was talking about Lippman, and he's proving he has what it takes.
Can you imagine what his numbers would be on another team?
Yeah, exactly.
That wasn't completely stacked.
That being said, of course, it does help having those guys on the. I mean, you can't cover everybody, right? So you got to pick your poison.
I mean, I think they're a more effective offense. At the same time, if he was a more selfish guy, he might be like, well, maybe I want to go somewhere I can get some more stats.
No selfishness on this team.
No, not at all.
Stern looking over the middle now to his left. Peterson with the catch, and he is tackled quickly after a gain of about 5 or 6 yards. First down for the Incredibles offense.
And Chelsea Bayer applauds happily.
Number 1 fan of the Incredibles, despite bigger fan of the Incredibles than she is of DK.
But let's face it, aren't we all?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, there we go.
I agree.
That being said, look, we were seeing them again in the red zone. Do you think that they pour it on here and pretty much end the game for the Buddies?
Look, it's the finals. You don't owe anyone anything.
No. And like I always say, it's not your job to stop the other team's offense.
Exactly.
To stop your own offense.
That's it. Stern looks to his right, looks back to his left. Intercepted! Big interception for Alex Gauthier, but comes after the touchdown. What am I talking about?
Wasn't a touchdown.
That was a few plays left. So that's a huge interception for them, and this is exactly what Etier and the Buddies offense needed. They got life now. While you mentioned earlier, Pease, yes, the interception at the end of the half, wipe that from your mind because it's 2 plays left. You're just trying to get deep.
Yeah.
This one was a big one.
And the only thing that's left really to say is, why is Bertolli only wearing 1 yellow sock? This game's pretty much done.
I don't know if it's pretty much done, Peace. 20-point game. Turgeon catches the ball at midfield. They've got to go quick now. It's got to be a hurry-up offense.
I mean, yes. I mean, and I want to sell the interception short because it's a huge play, but you got to do that again. You got to come back and intercept Stern again because there won't be a time to allow them to drive the field.
No, definitely not. It's time is running short. We said that a few drives ago. It's even more true now, but Etier's got to score quick. They can't be taking time between the huddles as Charbonneau catches it. Tackled quickly. There is a flag on the play, though. Jason Leclerc throwing a flag.
I think they're calling a pick.
We'll have to see here.
I think they're calling a pick on who is that?
It's going to be
Dubé, sorry.
Dubé, yeah. So it's a penalty on the Buddies offense, just what they didn't need, because not only do they lose yards, but it's a wasted play, but it also wasted time.
So it's not like the NFL where you get sort of stops for every little thing.
Nope.
It's FPF.
Running clock.
High energy running clock. It's like soccer if soccer wasn't boring.
Well, so far the first 2 games we've had haven't. Well, this one's been better than the D5 one, but still, it's been a bit lopsided.
Just the way it sort of started out.
Split backs for the Buddies, and that ball is out of the fingertips of Julien Dubé and falls incomplete. JC Binet looked like he had a chance at it, but it fell short of him.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen them with that weird stacked T formation type thing. I don't know. Whenever I see these crazy formations, it just reminds me that the defense has 2 less guys to cover in a sense.
Yeah,
and it gives you
2 less guys deep because they're starting from further back. Yeah,
that's it. And it gives you a rusher a chance to get there and interrupt.
Deep pass over the fingertips, just touched by Jason Charbonneau. He's been a guy that they've been looking for a lot, but it's just not working out for them. Peace.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like, it seems I've been saying all second half that he's got to keep it safe. He's got to keep doing what he's doing.
Can't do it anymore.
He can't do it anymore. There's no time.
Air it out.
You have a guy who's like 6 foot a million. Throw it to that dude.
Chuck it deep, post corner, something like that. He'll get open. He's good. Barriere is very, very good. And they have a lot of guys who are deep, but you got to stretch those routes out. He can't be going short anymore. And that one falls harmlessly incomplete to the right side of the field.
It just seems like Etienne sort of mailed it in a little bit. There's not a lot of confidence in his throws. And even guys running routes, that was a sloppy route by
Barriere.
By Barriere, and it's not like him at all. He's a very good route runner, very good football player.
Well, they recognize the situation as well, right? Very little time left, down 20 points. We saw earlier when things weren't going well for them that they rebounded. They were still looking confident. Etienne looked in control. That play, I agree with you. The body language didn't look too good.
It was sort of just like a one-handed effort. And
it was like,
okay.
Okay.
Kind of like, well, I just want to be picked again. Somebody throw it towards the sideline. Meh.
It's a bit of a high snap. He looks to the left, and that is caught by Vince Nardone. Third interception of the game for the Nard one. I think that one probably seals it, Pease.
Is your player of the game Vince Nardone in this one?
It's either him or Peterson.
Again, I know we give it to quarterbacks all the time.
No, I think in this one we're okay giving it. But I mean,
anyone else? Yeah.
I think Peterson had unbelievable offensive stats. Also got an interception, although he didn't have to do much.
The
to
one
get
thing
it,
I would say though is Peterson's impact was early, but Nardone was pretty much throughout the game.
Yeah, and Nardone
The
had the
Nardone
interceptions on defense,
the entire game.
and that touchdown was just the ankle breaker we were talking about.
Yeah, it was
It was just
disgusting.
incredible. It's the play of the game for me, that's for sure. Stern going back to Nardone, rewarding him for that interception, and he gets a gain. And I think the Buddays know it, the Incredibles know it. We're just playing out the string, barring some kind of miracle. Chances are the Incredibles will be your Division 4 champion.
And if they do manage to hold on, which most likely all signs are pointing to yes, we're seeing a team being able to go undefeated, keep the pressure on them all season long, go through the playoffs, not lose a game, get to the finals, and be able to win. It's remarkably difficult. Kudos to them.
And not just that, Pease, but they've been destroying teams.
Yeah.
It hasn't been close in so many games. This is just an elite team, a team that is definitely going to have to move up to Division 3. As we see Bertoldi making a deep catch. And man, Bertoldi runs it hard, eh?
Yeah.
He catches that ball and he's not backing down. He's just continuing to fight for yards.
He's got one speed and it's forward. It's not even a speed; it's a direction.
So it was a big catch for him. Again, continuing domination by the Incredibles offense. What do you think their prospects are in Division 3, Pease?
I think they'll be very strong. I think you went undefeated in Division 4. I think that had they been up in Division 3, I don't think that they would have been that bad at all. I think they're easily a 7-3 team that makes the playoffs.
I agree, they're a playoff team for sure. And how about the Buddays now? As we see Stern evade the rusher, Pema, making him look a little bit foolish. And his second run of the game as he takes a little tumble after the tackle by number 3, Vincent Coiteur. What are your thoughts, please, for the Buddays? What do they do from here?
I think maybe the best bet is stay behind, learn a little bit. They're a very good team. They have excellent pieces. It's just a matter of being able to learn how to be able to play against teams of this caliber. Earlier in the season, we saw them go toe-to-toe with the Maxime Forget-led family. We saw moments in this game where we thought they can turn it around. If they're able to sustain that in future seasons, I think they can compete. But I think they really need one more season to really hone their skills in Division 4.
I think they went 8-1-2. The one loss was when Etienne wasn't there. They made it to the finals again. I think this is a team that could even compete in Division 3, but I don't think they would be one of the top contenders. Great break on the ball there by Vincent Barrière. He's been, for me, I think the player of the game for the Buddays.
Well, I would say that
Him or
Jason Charbonneau.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But it hasn't been enough guys stepping up. We talked about it in Division 5 finals piece. When you looked at the Malud, every single player stepped up.
Yeah.
If you look at the Incredibles, every single player has stepped up.
Well, we said all game long when we talked about Kevin Libin going out and making plays.
Yeah, but even Nardone, Peterson, Bertoldi, Cho has been getting those snaps off.
Stein on defense.
Stein on defense. He wasn't tested much, but he made the tackle. Sapasi with a sack.
When it was necessary.
So, yeah, exactly. So I think that it's a question. It's always the team that's more complete and has the more guys that step up that will win. I think that's obviously the case. And Pema is just not looking good tonight.
No.
I think that having that extra week where he wasn't able to come last week, 2 weeks off kind of got him out of the flow of it. He's really getting juked out.
It depends what you do in those 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if it's all Vegas and strippers, then there's a good chance you're not going to come back, in shape to play in the finals.
But it's not even. I'm not thinking he wasn't. I'm not thinking he wasn't ready because of what he did. I just think having that extra bye week. Look, you experienced it with Checkmate. Yeah. That bye week can hurt you.
Absolutely.
It kills your momentum. And this is a guy who was dominating in the games he was there, and he's just been. David Stern has been eluding the rush like it was nothing.
David Stern once again.
We're gonna have to change his
the
last name.
Commissioner of the NBA has been avoiding the rush all game long.
He might be.
He might be. We don't know what he's doing.
Falling touchdown pass looked like
it was dropped, but it was a great throw from his knees.
I'm very curious who the brain trust of FPF is gonna decide as the MVP here, because Stern has had an incredible game too.
Yeah,
but I think I have to go with Peterson.
I like Peterson. I would consider Nardone too. I probably would give it to Peterson too, just because of how badly he abused the defenders all game.
It crushed the spirit of the defense.
Like single-handedly.
Yeah. So there's 5 plays left now as the Buddays get the offense back. So this one is obviously in the books. It's been in the books for a while, but it's pretty much official at this point as Turgeon gets a gain of a few yards. What more is there to say about the Incredibles piece? Very deserving champions.
Absolutely.
Both teams, I think, and I said it in the press conferences, but I am very proud of both these teams for making it this far. I think they're very deserving conference champions, and I think the Incredibles are very deserving Division 4 champions. Look, I had this experience with them when I played against them in the finals when the Average Joes won. I am a huge fan of the Incredibles, always have been, and I'm very proud of them for coming up as big as they did all season.
For sure, and again, they've given us a great final. The score is not really indicative of how the game was actually played because the Buddies had moments where they looked like they were going to take it back.
Yeah.
We saw them again running that sort of odd T-bone
thing, yeah.
whatever.
Split backs.
And in fact, if the game was closer, I think we would have seen an interference on a rusher from one of the running backs. But you know what? I think the Buddies will have to learn what works, and I think they have the pieces to make it work in future seasons.
Yep, absolutely.
There we
Sharpen
go.
again
That's a
with
smart
another
play.
big catch. Yeah, there's
Where was that? Well, why didn't you call that earlier?
Sometimes it's just not as open piece, you know. You don't see
okay.
it just as well.
Fine.
It took time for this offense to gel. I think those first few drives that they lost really killed them. I think we're at 4 plays left now.
With
I
three
believe. Plays left in the game. So
I forgot my abacus, but for 3
3
plays,
plays
George
left.
Ladder with the official number.
3 plays.
Why wasn't he here the whole time? By the way, it would have made our broadcast so
been
much
a lot
easier.
of help. Well, yeah. Hey, I've got one more
Hire
game
for next
after
season,
this.
by the way.
It's here looking over the middle, caught by Binet, close to the goal line, but not in.
At this point, just again, put it up.
Put
Make those post game beers taste a little bit better.
Absolutely, and I spoke about the Incredibles and how I'm proud of them, but that's not to shortchange the Buddays either. This is a team that we at FPF can be proud of. They played very, very hard throughout the season. They played well. They're classy guys. They're very intense on the sidelines, and I think that was kind of lacking for them. Obviously, when you're missing Marc-Antoine Bellini, your defensive
big deal.
leader, it's a huge loss. And
It's the second time it happens in the finals where they don't have him.
exactly, and it's the second time they'll lose because
And
of
that's
that.
a touchdown.
Touchdown for Barrière again. But I think the situation, especially when you watch over the weekend, they on Saturday, they didn't feel the pain. Against the Backyard Bullies, their defense did great. On Sunday, against the Family, they gave up a lot of points. And I think not having Bellini there hurts. I think not having Paiement there hurts as well.
But essentially, what we saw, though, was that the offense was able to step it up in a game like that.
Yeah.
It sucks that didn't happen today.
Yeah.
But, I mean, can anyone stop the Incredibles offense in
No.
Division 4? We haven't seen it this season, and we didn't see it today.
And as we speak, a ball goes through Peterson's hand. I think this is probably going to be it, Peas. And that is it. It is now official. The Incredibles are your Division 4 champions, capping off an incredible,
There we go.
undefeated season. They went 15-0, Peas.
Yeah, and they're winning this one 38-24. Huge game. More importantly, of course, like I said, I picked them to win and go
All
undefeated
season,
week
week
1.
Yep.
So therefore, thank you guys for making me a genius.
And we'll have to see what they do next season, and we'll have to see what the Buddays do next season as well. But it was an excellent game, and
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to
I mean,
watch,
again-
despite the lopsidedness. Exciting, good
but
plays.
it wasn't as bad as that. Like I said, especially that end of the first half, beginning of the second half gave us some very entertaining football to watch, and very. It was an excellent experience for us to be a part of.
Yep. Congratulations to the Division 4 champion Incredibles, and congratulations to playoff MVP. I can't see if they've handed the trophy yet.
Simo's in the way. Damn
Looks
you,
like
Simo.
it's Jacob Peterson.
There it is. There it is.
And I'm not surprised.
You're 2 for 2 on this one.
2 for 2, but
picking
I mean, it's not too hard.
No,
You saw the impact he had.
absolutely. He was
You
all
saw
over the
those
field.
routes he was running. You saw what he did. That guy is an unbelievable football
He
player.
made a very good defender, Eric Vigneault, look foolish most
Yep.
of the day.
Well, congratulations to the Buddays for making it to the finals. It's too bad it didn't work out for them. But congratulations to the Incredibles, your new Division 4 champions. We will go back to the studio for the post-game wrap-up and post-game interviews with Mokan, Simon Dagenet, and Daniele Gentili will not be there because he's going to be joining me soon. So Mokan and Dajne.
Hi, I'm here with Marco Bertoli from The Incredibles. Nice win, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So how did it went down? How was the game?
We came out, played hard. They did what we expected them to do, and we just overcame it. We made adjustments as the game went on, and I think the main thing is we scored as many times as possible.
We saw a great game offensively, a good game defensively. You guys, we had a close game at some point around the halftime, and you just punched it in at the end. Any adjustments in particular against the Buddays?
We noticed that the quarterback liked to roll out, so we just made sure we respected the zone. We got a couple lucky interceptions, tip balls. We were fortunate to pick it off, and we made them pay.
Nice. So what's the future for the Incredibles at this point?
We're still deciding between Div B and C for the summer, but definitely you'll see us in D3 next year.
I hope so. So we'll see. Good game. Good luck next season. I hope to see you around.
Thank you very much, man.
Welcome back now to the Div 4 postgame show, and the Incredibles are your new Div 4 winter season champions here. Simon Dagenet, Yershli Mo Khan, as Dan Gentili now perfect for the Div 3 broadcast, which you can see very shortly here on the weekly Extra Point Live FPF Roadshow. Simon, let's talk about this game. The Incredibles look phenomenal in the game. It seemed like they had the rhythm all throughout the first half and second half.
It was an amazing game. Incredibles played great offense and defense. Their defense held up. Their offense was explosive as ever. They just marched down the field every single drive they had. There was a few picks. So one was an amazing play by the Buddays, and one was a desperate throw. But in the end, the Incredibles and Greg Stern played amazing offense.
Look at Le Buddays and, of course, Leandre Itier. We talked about in pregame, right? The gunslinger mentality of taking the risk to throw the football. It seemed like the Incredibles had his number on those errant throws.
Well, the game went decently for Leon Itier. He took a few risks, not enough in my opinion. When he took those risks, he made some nice plays. He was trying not to throw any interceptions and didn't go his way, discarded way too many throws. He ended up not taking enough risk for the situation he was in, and they ended up trailing all game long.
At what point did you feel that the Incredibles had this game in control? Was it early in the first half or through the second half?
I believe that it was more middle of the second half. When the half happened, I think the Buddays had a chance to come back up. They brought it to a one-score game, and then the Incredibles just kept on marching on them, and the Buddays had no answer back.
You look at Marco Bertoli, you look at Nardone, you look at Nick Peterson, Greg Stern, the whole offensive crew. Is this the most prolific offense that we've seen in Div 4?
Definitely. Their offense is amazing. They've been playing great all season long, all playoff long, and now look at what happened tonight. Their offense is pretty much what makes it incredible, and now they've had Vince in defense, which makes it a lot of plays. He made 4 picks tonight. I believe that he's the key player in defense, and he makes amazing plays in offense as well. So now their offense is prolific, their defense is decent. They got everything they need to win games.
With Le Buddays rusher Paymont, did you feel like that he wasn't as effective as he should have been, considering, again, over 20 sacks during the regular season, but coming into this game, we were talking about this matchup. He had to be the X factor. Was he not the X factor for them tonight?
I think Julien Paymont played great. I think he did what he had to do, but it just wasn't enough. Greg Stern was on top of his game. He knew what was coming at him. He would believe he was going against a good rusher. He was on his heels all game long, but Greg Stern just had the answer all game long.
All right, let's look at this from this perspective now for the Incredibles and, of course, for Le Buddays moving ahead here for the spring and winter seasons. Where do you see both teams, whether it's this spring or next winter? Obviously, the Incredibles, they have that talent to make the jump to Div 3 next winter.
Definitely. I would like to see the Incredibles in Div B next year because I think they can do it. I hope to see the Buddays in Division C. If we're talking about winter, I hope to see Le Buddays maybe in 4, maybe in 3, depending on what happens in spring. If they do play spring, Incredibles, they could even make it to 2 if the roster stays the same. They have the talent, they have the potential. They've been playing better and better every season coming in. It could be a possibility. If not, Division 3 is the least they could go.
Finally, what letter grade would you give this matchup? Obviously, the scoreline was pretty wide. I mean, you called it perfectly in your predictions in the pregame show, but what grade would you give this game?
I would give a B- because the game was good. It had a chance to go both ways at some point. I think it was a close game for an amount of time, and then after, let's say, 5 minutes into the second half, the Incredibles just blew it away, which kind of drops the grade a little bit, but it was still a pretty good game.
All right, so there you have it. I want to thank everybody a part of the Div 4 production, the podcast team, Darren, PZ Della Rizzi, Paula Della Rocca, yourself, Simone Dagenet, with your hard work, Danny Gentili for coming on for the pregame show, cameraman Rob Campana for his hard work as well. But congratulations to both Le Buddays for reaching this point, and unfortunately for them coming up on the short end, whereas with the Incredibles, and as I told the guys before 3 weeks ago, I said if the Incredibles win, I had the finishing line for this broadcast. The Incredibles are impeccable. How do you think about that?
I think it's well suited, to say the least.
So there you have it. Congratulations to the Incredibles, to Greg Stern and the team for a job well done, finally winning an FPF title after many years in this league. Great group of guys who are associated with FPF. And we hope to see these guys somewhere down the road for spring season, if not winter year. And of course, you don't know the magic words. I'll do it myself.
I never heard of him. I heard about him. I never said him actually. So I'll leave it to you.
The magic words. Good night, FPF. Congratulations to the Incredibles. They are impeccable. We'll see you for the Spring League on May 15th.